All right, everybody, I'm Brian Hogman here with Chelsea Bedard.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, we're here on the Positive Podcast again, where we're talking the 3 Ps. Personal development, personal finance, and we're talking about, what was the last one? Parenting. Oh, God. Not to say that that is the order it should be in, but it probably actually, you know what? I think there's some relevance there. You know, if you work on yourself first, and if money's okay, then I can take care of my kid. Okay, a little hard to do if there's no money at all, right? Cool. So, Chelsea, how's your day been?
So far, so good.
Yeah?
Yeah, pretty positive.
Yeah? Good, eh? Rose-colored glasses are on.
Yeah.
Affirmative.
Yeah, it's a Friday.
Yeah? Hallelujah. All right. So, what's the book we're talking about today?
The Power of One More by Mylett. This is a really great one. I've read this twice. How many times have you read this?
You know what? At work, we actually gave that book out to everybody one year.
Yeah, that was a good
So we bought that and gave it out to everybody as a little stocking stuffer. So I read it once then, and then I read it again just recently. It's a nice, easy read, too.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to it. So his dad, unfortunately, was an alcoholic, and he did pass, but like so many people have family members that struggle with that. So it's just interesting, his perspective.
You know, it's cool, too, when you see a lot of these superstars and a lot of these guys, girls that, you know, rise up in the ranks and you sort of look up to in that personal development space. A lot of them came from nothing. I don't want to say nothing, but like, you know, alcoholic father, parents, things like that. It's not like they woke up one day and they were just all amazing, right? It's the years and years and years and years and years of work that they put into it, right? Like Ed Mylett's a great example of that.
For sure, yeah. I know, it's a good reminder because I feel like that sometimes.
Yeah?
Of course, yeah.
That you're just climbing the ropes?
I don't know. I know that Rome wasn't built in a day, but it would be if I was building Rome.
Probably. You are pretty urgent. Not going to lie there. That's for sure. Do you know how Ed Mylett made his money? I always like to see how these guys make their money.
Was it like network marketing?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, like a big network marketer, build up a huge downline, and now he, you know, did a whole bunch of speaking and then sort of transitioned to that. And then I think he did real estate as well too. A lot of these guys and girls always invested in real estate as well. Came up with big deals. And now he just fills stadiums and talks to people. So tell me your top 3 things or 4 things or 2 things about this book here that you liked.
I guess like for me, the message is when you feel like giving up, just do one more, whether it's like at the gym or a call at work or like believing in yourself or your self-worth. Yeah, that would be the message for me, like my takeaway.
Just do one more, no matter what.
Well, maybe like 4 more, but
4 more.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just like when you feel like giving up, that's when you push harder. And
Totally.
I think I've even heard like Arnold Schwarzenegger say the same thing.
Totally.
Like when he's at the gym, and yeah, it's a common message.
Do one more.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Like I like that. I think for me, when he talks about that too, it sort of means like it allows you to achieve your goals and more, right? Because if I end up saying, if I'm at the gym and I say, okay, do 10 reps, and then I get to 10 and I push out 11, to me, I'm starting to program myself that I do more than is expected, right? I do more.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but like if I can do better than what's expected, I think then, yeah, that's the power of one more.
Yeah.
Like you get a Ed Mylett life, I guess.
I do love that. Do more than what is expected.
Yeah.
I've always liked that quote.
Totally.
Yeah.
You know what I like, I thought was cool, and I tried it, but I couldn't master it in that book, is he's got this thing where he's got 3 days in one, his time management.
Because of sleep, right?
Fuck. Like 3 days in one. So he goes, I conquer the world by having 3 days in one. So his first day is from 6 a.m. till noon. Second day is from noon till 6. And then the last day is 6 till midnight. Yeah. So he's saying, I have 3 days in one. So, and I'm just like, man, have you ever, like, what did you think about that?
I mean, I need my sleep, like, go to bed at 9, wake up at 5 or like 10. So I don't think it would work for me. But I do think guys need less sleep than women.
I don't know. I don't know.
You like your sleep.
Yes, Wendy. I got a chamomile tea by around 9:30. Like, I'm like, I don't know. I do like, I don't know. Like, I like to have a good 7-hour sleep, but to I really admired his discipline for being able to have 3 days in one, but I don't I got confused. I got to like really, it's like, do I have a morning routine 3 times a day then?
You could, yeah.
Right? Like you almost restart each day, right? I like the idea of it. I think it's very disciplined, but it really comes down. I think the moral of the story there is time management. The better you can discipline your time, the more you get done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. What else did you find good? I got so many notes on this guy. What else you got?
Okay, so I've struggled with this. We talked about it earlier, like thinking I should be further along or like not comparing. And he does touch on jealousy can be reframed as a good thing, which I was like, oh, I feel jealousy sometimes. When you're able to view it as an achievable goal. So like, why not me? If they have it or they're doing it.
Yeah.
It's typically I'm jealous of what people are doing because I'm like, oh, that's so cool. They've, done these things or went to this school or even the other day I said, you guys went to business school. Like, I'm envious that you did that.
You still can.
I know, but like.
You're right in the business school right now. Yeah, no, I see that, right? So you see yourself as kind of like, say that part again. You understand, like.
So jealousy can be reframed as a good thing when you're able to view it as an achievable goal.
Right on. I like that.
Right? Like, if someone else has done it, it's kind of like, what is it, the 4-minute mile? Yeah, like you can do it.
Yeah, totally.
Or beat it.
I like that. It's a different way of looking at it. Yeah, Roger Bannister, right? So true. You know what? And it's looking at things that other people are having and looking at it through your eyes, saying like, I can do it too if that person did it. It almost can be a little bit cocky too. It can be like, if that guy can do that, I can do that.
But have you ever thought that before?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. It's a different way of looking at it. Like, instead of looking at it from envy, I'm looking at it like, oh my God, like I'm smarter than that guy. I'm this and this and this. I could definitely do that as well too.
Or just like, if you know that you have the discipline, like with work ethic. Like, I believe in my work ethic. So I'm like, why can't I get there? Like, there's no other option.
You know what? And I think too, if you don't constrain yourself with a time limitation. Right? Because I think that's what ends up screwing everybody up, because you're thinking like, I should be here already.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, okay, well, like, yeah, I'm not there, but I have the discipline, I have the know-how, I have the consistency, so I will be there, but it might take me an extra 6 months, year, 5 years, 10 years.
And I think that should be the message on social media, not like everyone being a millionaire at 24.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's hard. Well, and I think too, like, to bring up Hermosi, I get these like male crushes sometimes on social media where obviously they're just popping up in my thing, but like he had a great message where he's just talking about time. Like, if you know, and that's one thing that resonates with me now too, is I know that I'll win because I'll play forever. Right? So if you put a unreasonable time frame on yourself to have a certain amount of success, as long as I know I'm still going to wake up and play when I'm 60 or 70 or 80, I'll win. Yeah. I'll win. I'll beat everybody.
And you're super healthy, so you will.
So far, sometimes. Yeah. So, cool.
Yeah. I like this point too, actually. So tell me what you think about this. Your net worth to the world is your bad habits subtracted from your good habits.
Ooh.
It's deep.
Ooh. Your net worth is your bad habits subtracted by your good habits. It's like your equity.
Your equity to the world.
Right? Your equity to the world.
I know.
Interesting.
I know.
Very cool.
So it just like makes you look inward and you're like, what can I change?
You know what I like about that? Is because sometimes I focus on, I got to change the bad, but I know I have a lot of good habits.
You do, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I like the reframe on that too, because that means I got equity.
You're like, I'm a good person.
Yeah, no, but it's like, I naturally, with being in the mortgage business and stuff, I always look at equity and I look at net worth and we look at wealth and stuff like that. But that means that you are adding wealth to the world according to his sort of like outlook on it, because just make sure, because I think sometimes, I know I put pressure on myself sometimes, like to have no bad habits, like zero. And you're like, that is a really hard standard, especially when I was trying to do bodybuilding and things like that. I was like, I can't do anything. I need a vice, right?
Yeah.
But if you have some, but you have a lot of good habits, you're net positive out in the world.
Yeah, I think so too.
Thanks, Ed. Good call. I like that too. He talks a lot about the one that I like too, and it sort of reminds me of James Clear. We should do him again one time as well too. So that was another work one we did.
Yeah.
What's his book?
Atomic Habits.
Yeah, this is not that one, but that's another one, because Ed also talks about the trigger, action, and the prize.
Yeah.
For when it comes down to habits, right? And it's trying to.
It's like the habit loop.
Totally.
Yeah.
You know, you get upset, you get mad, you do this, I would emotionally eat a lot of
It's
times.
so hard to catch yourself during though, like applying the tools
Yeah.
in the moment. It's almost like, I don't know, you wish you had like the angel devil. on
Yeah,
your shoulder.
totally. Check out episode 1. Yeah, right? But it's true though, right? Like you get into a habit and it's like little things like any trigger. I was speaking to a colleague at work. So I hope she doesn't know I'm giving away her tell right now, but when you do this, that could be a trigger, like just touching yourself, patting your head, doing something like that can trigger another behavior, right? So, and then it can break the loop.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think that was pretty cool as well too. Right on. So when you talk about breaking the loop, let's talk about someone buying a house for the first time. Right? So getting into personal finance now. I think the power one more too, when we were talking about because we see lots of people in different situations for mortgages. A lot of people think they can't get into a house right now.
Right.
Right? They think I'm never going to buy a house. Housing is really expensive, and I'm not trying to discount that. It is super expensive right now. But we had a situation where someone, I guess they were declined from a bank.
Yeah. This was an interesting one. They had a couple past hiccups on their credit and it didn't work. And they were family members. They were buying their first home in their 40s, which I thought was amazing. They had a great down payment, but it didn't work. So we had to just keep running through the different options. And they did. They didn't give up. And I didn't give up either. I'm pretty persistent too.
You're like the power of one more lender, right? Just I'm going to go to another lender and another lender.
Yeah, but how many times I'll be looking at the same file, on a Saturday, on a Sunday. I'm like, there's got to be a solution.
It's funny you say that because what was I doing? I was looking at a business project, but you ever see those crime movies like Special Victims, Law and Order, and then the detective lays out all the pictures on the floor and they stare at them? That's like you with a mortgage file, right? You're looking at there is a solution here somewhere, right?
I know. I wish they came home with me, our colleagues would come home with us on the weekends and be like, if you look at it this way though, different day, different time, different environment, new set of eyes.
Well, I think it's powerful to know, right? When you're working with someone, regardless of whatever realm you're in, you have someone that's in it to win it, commitment to look at it, someone with the right mindset, and this is why we talk about the mindset, because the mindset will drive the result, right?
Right.
How many people I worked in lots of industries in different places where someone will tell me they have 10 years experience. And my favorite thing is no, you don't. You have 1 year experience 9 times. Because you just never learned anything after the first year, right? Whereas you continue learning and growing. But with this person here too, and I think they weren't able to get qualified. They were declined from the bank as well too. They had a bankruptcy. Mm-hmm. They had two bankruptcies. Gosh, the only thing better than one is 2, right?
Yeah.
But they had 2 bankruptcies. And now for those of you who don't know, when you have 1 bankruptcy, it shows up on your credit report for 7 years. 2 bankruptcies shows up on your credit report for 14 years after time of discharge.
Right.
That's
yeah.
That's not going away for a while.
And the thing about this one too is it just seemed like it was such a small amount to go bankrupt. So it just broke my heart. I'm like, was the advice, right, correct? Who knows? I'll never know. But in my opinion, it just seemed like it's a shame that happened.
I think that's a powerful. So I think they went bankrupt when I remember looking at that file was maybe 20 grand, 25,
less,
15.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at and again, everybody's situation is different, right? But a bankruptcy is a permanent thing, shows up on your credit report, and just like you can have a bad mortgage broker, you could have a bad tax accountant, you could have a bad lawyer, bad doctor, you could have a bad bankruptcy trustee. Someone who says you should go bank, because I saw that with someone else that I know as well too, where they ended up getting, because they just didn't know. Because when you are in financial difficulty, you're immediately thinking, how do I stop the bleeding?
Yeah.
How do I stop the pain? And then if you talk to somebody and says, I can stop the pain, sign here, we'll get rid of this debt, and you don't have to worry about it. How do I feel? I feel amazing,
better, yeah.
right? But then the alternative is maybe having a tougher conversation, saying, listen, you know what? Well, why don't you do a budget, right? Stop going out for dinner. Stop buying smokes.
Stop drifting.
And take care. And that's a tougher conversation, right? But anyways, so that's something for people to realize too, because, bankruptcy, I think you got to talk to the right professional, one that cares. as well too.
Absolutely.
Because it does make things difficult. But in this case, what did you do? Did you get a double bankrupt? Like, how did that play out?
So anyway, we ended up taking off that applicant, off the mortgage application. We added another family member, and it was still tight, like the ratios, but we made it work. And I think we still gave hope, right? The intent is to always have the other person back on, so that is still the plan.
Yeah, of course.
It's just, a little detour.
Well, and it's like having the tough conversation. Say, listen, you know what? You're dragging down the file. Right? Like
it did suck. That conversation was hard.
Right? Like nobody, like, especially, you love nice people. I love nice people too, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of want to be nice. But I also think a friend of mine once told me clarity is kind. Right? So being clear and you saying like, listen, you're dragging down the mortgage application. If your goal is to get into home ownership, we've got to take you off the title because, and then I'm going to put on your dad, your mom as a co-signer and put them on to get into it as well too, right? Yeah. And what did they say? Like, did you feel bad having that conversation? Or
I take on emotions all the time, so I felt
that's got to be tiring.
I did feel bad, but at the end, it's always like I think it's going to be worse than it really is. They're grateful, they're happy, they're appreciative. So, it all worked out.
Yeah.
It all worked out. Yeah.
Isn't that funny? You always think it's going to be worse than it actually is. Right?
I know, and it's like I need to learn this lesson. I'm going to be 36 and stop wearing all those emotions.
You know what? It's funny because I get lessons that come up in my life over and over and over again, and it's because I haven't learned it. Right? And it's just like the world has a fun way of throwing shit right back in your face when you need to learn it again and again and again. It shows up again, right?
Yeah.
So I guess we'll have some more bankrupt clients that you'll be able to talk to and help out. Well, it's good though. You know what? I know they were super grateful to end up getting it and getting into the house and being able to find someone that could commit to getting a solution for them.
Absolutely.
So if you're bankrupt, there's options. And before you go bankrupt, figure out your options.
Right.
Right. It may not be the only. Like I've seen people that had $80,000 or $90,000 in debt. They should go bankrupt.
Right.
Like if it's unsecured debt and you're on a fixed income, it's like a never plan. Like, if you were self-employed or commission and you could get some windfalls of money, maybe there is an opportunity. But if you are on a fixed salary, and you are budgeting.
Yeah, it can be tough.
That could be tough to pay off, right? Like where's that money going to come from?
Yeah.
Right? So good on you. So let's talk about my favorite part here, how to be a better parent to Lila and Isaac.
Yeah, how can you apply the lessons from this book?
The power of one more. Well, this comes up a lot, and me and Wendy always talk about like after school routine, right? So I'm curious, like you have a preschool routine and a post school. Like how does your routine work?
So I am the morning because Ollie's out the door at like 4. And then he is the nighttime routine. So I think this is how it goes, but I don't know for sure. They go through to see if he has any homework. And then pretty much that's it. If he doesn't, then he's good to play outside, or it's just like you can watch a little bit of a show, get ready for jiu-jitsu or whatever sport he has that night.
Oh, he's got a lot of sports too,
yeah,
right? Like is it 3 nights a week, 4 nights a week?
Like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So 5 days a week he's got something.
But he's like a dog that I need to put on a leash. Like he has that energy. He needs to, release.
And I think it's like knowing your kid, right?
Yeah.
Like as to what they need.
I definitely apply the power of one more in the morning because like I just need him to be confident with reading. Like I want him to have swag. I know that he's feeling, a little bit down on himself when he doesn't know the answers at school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like how you said that because it's like I know I'm older, but like I know when I was in school it wasn't cool to be smart. Now it's smart to be cool. Mm-hmm. Or no, cool to be smart. Yeah, smart to be cool.
Yeah, like you just have that extra confidence. So.
Yeah, you got swag, right? Like if you have that, it gives you more confidence. I think that's such a cool, that's, when you talk about sometimes how society has progressed down the wrong hill, I think that's a cool way that society has progressed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I might like not agree with everything the public school system does, like especially from reading the other book, but I do know that you have to perform at school. It's like a job, right? Like do what you're told, try your best. And I have to help him in the morning with reading because I'm like, if you're not going to learn at school, then at least let us practice for 20 minutes prior to.
Right.
So, and that's every day it's almost been 2 years.
And that's the power of one more too, right? Because I know there's times when I'm sure you probably have, you come home, you're tired, right? And I know if I were to say to Lila, hey, you want to put on YouTube? She'd be like, oh yeah. Like she got no issues with that. But I've got to, it's almost like showing up for that. I've got to show up and be disciplined for her so she can do that. And I'm not always great at that, but I try to. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah. So yours is also just like schoolwork for Power One More, or?
Well, it's funny. We had a parent-teacher interview the other night. So, and like she doesn't really have specific homework. She's in a Montessori program. I actually love how they do it. It's kind of like they sort of cater to the kid.
Yeah.
And her teachers are like, I love them. I'm like, thank God, like you're in charge of my child. So they're really, really good. So, but it's like, so they have a suggested reading program and math program. But what she said was, and this was just from the parent-teacher interview the other night, just like she should be doing 20 minutes a night. So I didn't have a specific routine because I feel like my whole day at work is regimented so much that specific routine is not there. So Wendy and I can be a little bit like, it'll get done.
Yeah.
But it's not like regimented, but then sometimes it won't get done because you get busy. But I think now we're seeing the value of making sure it's 20 minutes, same time every night. Right?
I think kids like routine deep down.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think the discipline of her, because they expect it as well too, right? It's kind of like, shower, then read the book to me, then I'll read the book to you. Then it's kind of like you're getting ready for that rhythm in order to go to bed, right?
Yeah.
Instead of having just a crazy bonfire at night, so.
Or for me, a big fight, right? We've already done it every day for 2 years. Why are we fighting about this? There's no.
Does he fight about it still, like bedtime routine?
No, in the morning with me. He doesn't fight with his dad. Trust me. It's just...
Dad lays down the law.
Yeah, it's me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Guys and girls and little boys. Very, very different. All right, guys. Well, listen, if you have anything else that you guys want to chat about when it comes down to parenting or something that we can learn, please let us know as well, too. Any other books or any other personal finance stuff that would help, let us know on the Positive Podcast. That was fun.
That was fun.
Thanks, Chelsea.